Hey everybody, Mark, Dr. Deadwax here. It's time for day 22 of the Inbox Challenge, week 4. Who'd have thunk? Today's numbers were picked by Jeff, Glowing Double O Cabbage, and he picked 3 numbers. Thank God. And we're going to do all 3. Thanks, Jeff, for playing along. And here we go. First up is Big Pig Bonk. Now, Big Pig were an Australian band. From like 1986, 87 to like 1991. They didn't really last very long. They did 2 records. This is the first record. I've never heard the second record. They like did like 2 live or 5 live dates after the release of the second record and broke up. So I never heard the second record, but I know this record really well. This is on Canadian A&M. With this kind of, they had that kind of cool label. I like that label. Nothing interesting in the Deadwax. No signature plant manufacturer, plate maker, nothing. So I can't really talk about that. Came with the original A&M inner. By this point, they were doing nice poly inners to try and tart things up. This was released in 1988. CD was already in full swing. I bought this record when it came out, actually, and I bought it on CD. And this is a really interesting band. They have like vocalists and percussionists, vocalist percussion, vocals harmonica, vocals keyboard, vocals drums, percussion. There's no bass player, there's no guitar player in this band. It's kind of like, the concept was, is it Kodo? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the Japanese drummers were like, there's like 6, 7, 20, who knows how many drummers who are all drumming on different types of drums, all drumming together as a collective to create a big wall of sound. That was the same idea with these guys. They had like 5 or 6 drummers on stage, and even people who weren't necessarily drummers would also drum. And I saw them live in, I think it was 1988. It might have been early 1989. It's a bit of a blur. It's like a quarter century ago almost. So, but it was a great week. I remember the week, the kind of specifically because I saw Big Pig at the Diamond Club in Toronto. And like 2 days later, I saw Clannad at the Diamond Club in Toronto, and then like 2 days later I saw Fishbone at the Diamond Club in Toronto, and I think Clannad were touring Sirius, and Fishbone, is it Freddy's Dead? Wow, it was like just an incredible week. I remember because it also cost me a fortune because I was working nights, and I think I had lost $1,000 taking 3 nights off that week. I was working for myself and I was making stupid money. Never allow a 22-year-old to make that much money. Great music. Kind of, so it's kind of slightly in that synth industrial sound that say Depeche Mode had on like Master and Servant, that kind of sound, and then take that kind of Japanese Kodo drumming, the big energy that gives, and they all kind of looked the same. They were all tall, they were all skinny, they were all wearing like black leather aprons. They had a real look to them. One of my gay friends really liked this band. I really liked this band. This band was great, and they were great live, and I wish that they had done more music, and I wish I had known about their second record before I looked them up today. I don't know if any of them are doing anything in Australia. Currently, I know a couple of them went on and did some other projects in the 90s after they first broke up, but I can't point to anything specific that any of them are doing now. But I bought this for $2 in a delete bin. When you look at the price code on these things, on those stickers, sometimes they have like, they're dated for when they put out. This sat in the delete bin for 5 years for $2 before I bought it. Near mint, perfect copy. Great band. I can't recommend them enough. Great for dancing too. The hits were Hungry Town, Nation, Money God. Those were the three biggest ones. There's a video for one or two of those on YouTube. You can kind of get a vibe for the sound. $2. It's great music if you like that kind of 80s synth stuff. And it's more than synths. No keyboards, no bass. It's incredible what they, everybody was like, you can't not have guitars and bass player. Yes, you can. Next, Heart, Dreamboat Annie. This is a Nautilus half-speed mastered series super disc. Now, here it says super disc, super D-I-S-C. There's another group of half-speed mastered records that are called Super Disc D-I-S-K. Two completely different companies. Don't get them confused. It's a gatefold. It has a label that's like the original Mushroom. This was originally released on Mushroom Records. Pretty sure it doesn't say it. The labels on this say that manufactured and distributed by Nautilus Recordings, Pismo Beach, California. I'm pretty sure these are Japanese pressed records. And there's also some debate about some of these records are from copies of masters put to digital. I think they say the Fleetwood Mac is actually a digital mix. I haven't read that about this record. Also came with an inner sheet. This has that incredibly Japanese look to it. You know how their records all have that. Although this piece of paper says that it was printed in the United States. So again, I don't know. It says here, printed in the USA. So I don't quite know if this was actually American made or Japanese made. My instinct is that these were made in Japan. How's it sound? Sounds really good. Is it worth the money that these cost? I'm not sure about that. This is from, I've shown the stamp before, but this mushroom on this side has fennel in it. This is from a collection of records that the guy stamped his name and everything. And I bought them off a dealer that I know. He bought a collection off this guy's parents because he passed away. And he called me in and let me have first crack at it before they went out on the floor in the store. And I think I paid $10 for this. And I might have paid $8 after all of, like after, I think I bought like 30 things. And I think I got, I got a bit of a discount. So maybe it worked out to $8. The Kendon, if you look at the original plates on Mushroom, same label, Canadian ones that say Kendon, and I've talked about Kendon before, they're highly impressive plates, and they're highly impressive records. Maybe this has a slightly lower noise floor, but then again, it might be digital. It might have Dolby noise reduction added to it. People are paying $30 for this, $40 for this on eBay sometimes. A lot of times you can get this for $8 or $10. I think if you can buy this for under $20, and it's perfectly near mint like this one is, maybe that's a good buy. You can also buy 20 of these for $1 in a dollar bin that say Kendon and find a perfect one that way too, and it'll sound just as good. There's a lot of people going out and rebuying classic rock records because they think that they're better, and they're absolutely not. The very first U.S. pressings of Rumors, they're fantastic. You won't find a single pressing of Rumors that sounds better than that record. They'll sound as good. They'll sound a little bit different, and they might sound a little bit better in the treble, but you'll lose something in the bass, or they might sound a little bit better in the mids, but you'll lose something in the treble. Like, there's always a trade-off. There's You know, I've auditioned like 8 different pressings of that record side by each on highly revealing systems, and ultimately everybody agrees you can buy the original US or Canadian pressing for $1. So the Hoffman remaster that just came out, or the Nautilus Super Disc, or the Mo, you know, they're really not worth having. And typically, I gotta say, almost across the board, you can always do better by finding an original pressing with very early plates for next to nothing than you will over buying a MoFi or a Nautilus or, you know, a DCC. And there's some debate on that, of course, because, you know, the world is full of audiophiles. But that's the general impression. For $1, you're miles ahead. Buy 15 copies of Rumors for $1 and you'll find the one that's perfect. Just make sure they're early. Third record, Triumvirat, Illusions on a Double Dimple. Triumvirat were a German prog rock band. They kind of started out as a German cover band of Elegy, of the Nice / Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and you know, they have a bit of that sound. This is a Canadian pressing. I think it's Canadian. Yeah, it's Canadian pressing on Harvest, and it's mastered by Capitol in the Deadwax's. I'll just try here and see if we get it to show, or if it's going to be one of these nights where we can't get anything to show. Mastered by Capitol, and it has Wally in the Deadwax's. There's Mastered by Capitol at like 6 o'clock. And let's see if we'll get the Wally to pop. Maybe not. The hell is the Wally? Yeah. The Wally is there. There it is. Wally is at 12 o'clock. And this Wally is signed WLY. That's Wally Trogett. Brilliant mastering engineer. Talked about him all the time. Again, find his Beatles Purple Label Capitol pressings unless you want to start buying expensive early tube cuts or stuff like that. Mastered by Capitol, Wally, W-A-L-L-Y, double L-Y. Look for it on Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon as well. That's one of the best budget pressings of Dark Side of the Moon that you'll find. Anything with Wally, he really knows his shit. And this record sounds glorious. Huge bass, just perfectly mastered record. I have a German pressing of this somewhere in the inbox, so I'm interested in shooting the two of them out. I don't know if my German, there's a German reissue in like 78. This is from 73. There's a German reissue from 78. I don't know which one mine is. Music. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant prog record. Fantastic. Masterpiece. Wow. Shit, I've heard Spartacus at a friend's house, and that's kind of, he played Spartacus one night, and I was like, this is fucking excellent. I've been buying Triumvirat records for a couple of years out of dollar bins. This was $1 at a show. Maybe it was $2. It wasn't more than that. And you can buy this on eBay for like $4.99. You can buy this from Discogs for the same price. I mean, they're giving this shit away. Go buy this record. If you like progressive rock, this is brilliant. The vocalist has a good voice. The music's very, very interesting, very intricate. There's 2 suites on this. There's the Illusions of a Double Dimple suite on side A and the Mr. 10% suite on side B. This is when Helmut Collin was in the band. He was in the band for 2 records. He was the bass and vocalist. He left the band after Spartacus. I'd say this is kind of back and forth. Some people think this is the masterpiece. Some people think Spartacus is the masterpiece. This is fantastic, so I need to listen to Spartacus again. Buy the record. See for yourselves. Go out and listen to it on YouTube. It's great, great prog rock. This is B or C-list prog rock that I think needs to be reclassified as A. This is a glorious album. It hits all the right buttons. Sadly, Helmut Collin left the band after Spartacus recorded a studio record and died in his garage of carbon monoxide poisoning because he was listening to the tapes from the studio, a cassette tape of the studio work for his solo album in his car in his garage. It seems kind of weird because the guy was a mechanic and he was a race car driver. So people think it was an accidental death. Even if it was. Anyways, it's really sad because he died really young. Great, great record. Find this. You'll see this in all the dollar bins. You'll see this and you'll see Spartacus in all the dollar bins. Buy it. You know, find the dollar originals. Unless you know, get this for 20 bucks or less. Don't be paying 40, 60, 80 bucks on eBay. And you'll find this in dollar bins. Check it out. It's different music and it's certainly worth listening to. That's it, everybody. Day 22 over. Thanks, Jeff, for picking the numbers. Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning.